A few months ago, I moved into my first apartment. It wasn't much, a small studio with creaky floors and thin walls, but it was mine. Late one night, I found myself scrolling aimlessly on my laptop. Somehow, I ended up on a forum talking about the dark web. People shared stories about buying strange items, hiring hackers, or even darker things. One comment stood out: "Order something harmless and see what happens. You'll never be the same." I laughed it off, but couldn't stop thinking about it. A few days later, curiosity got the better of me. I downloaded the necessary software, followed some tutorials, and finally accessed the dark web. It was overwhelming, a maze of eerie websites with cryptic names and unsettling descriptions. Then, I found a site called Curiosities Delivered. It promised unique, one-of-a-kind mystery boxes with guaranteed surprises. Most were expensive, but one listing caught my eye. Beginner's Lockbox, $50. The description simply read, "For the curious soul." It seemed innocent enough. I made the purchase using Bitcoin, entered my address, and closed the laptop. I didn't think much of it until the box arrived 3 days later. The package was plain, no return address, and heavier than I expected. Inside, I found 3 items: a Polaroid photo, an old key, and a folded piece of paper. The photo showed a forest at dusk, with a small wooden cabin barely visible in the background. The key was rusted and looked ancient, and the paper simply had an address written on it. It wasn't in my city or even my state. It was hours away in the middle of nowhere. I told myself it was a prank or some kind of elaborate marketing scheme, but the more I thought about it, the more I felt compelled to investigate. Against my better judgment, I decided to go. When I arrived, it was exactly like the photo. The forest, the cabin, even the eerie twilight atmosphere. The door was unlocked, so I stepped inside. The cabin was empty, except for a table in the center of the room. On it was a laptop, identical to mine. The screen was on, displaying a live feed of me. Standing in the cabin, I froze. Who was filming this? I spun around, but there was no one else there. Then, a message appeared on the screen. "Thank you for participating. Step outside for your final surprise." I didn't move. My heart pounded as I considered my options. After a moment, I mustered the courage to peek out the window. There, standing in the distance, was a figure wearing a black hoodie. They weren't moving, just staring in my direction. I grabbed the laptop, hoping it would have answers, and bolted out of the cabin to my car. When I got home, I opened the laptop and found a single folder titled Your Life. Inside were hundreds of photos of me, sleeping, eating, walking to class, everything. One video file was labeled Live Feed. When I clicked it, it showed me sitting at my desk in real time. A message popped up on the screen. "You've been chosen. There's no going back." I threw the laptop out the window and called the police.